his last heartbeat. At number one, he was beautiful. I mean, it was just he looked so gorgeous.
Tyler, my son doesn't look gorgeous yet. What the fuck? I've given him like 1,000 baths. He never looks gorgeous.
I actually thought for a minute, I said, is my son a vampire? Like, is he glamming me?
I think glamming makes someone swoon. I think glamming is like trying to seduce someone. Is my dead son seducing me? Is what I'm hearing from this sick fucking weirdo. Son is about to die.
And when my wife and I were standing over my son, and
what would you think, Tyler, standing over your lifeless son?
I would think, Jesus Christ, I really let this happen. Why did I even have kids to begin with? I fucked up as a parent.
I would give him CPR one more time. Tyler, you're always going to keep trying. You're just going to get in there. Get him in your mouth. And get this guy another chance at life. Let's see what Kevin Nash does.
he took his last heartbeat. We were just at number one. He was beautiful. I mean, it was just he looked so gorgeous.
You looked gorgeous, Tyler.
Dead? I'm so confused. You look gorgeous.
God damn it, Tyler! I did it again. All right, you're an N lover. What was the other one? Black Lives Matter, but your kids don't. Let's just make sure that's the whole thing. Let's see what else he said.
Oh, shit in your kid's casket.
I'll shit in your kid's casket. oh, that's my favorite part. We should.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music TV. I want to apologize again as I had to open up with that piece of crap, Sputnik cancer face. I'm sorry, Daniela. I'm not going to let this one go with this clown. I can't.
I'll put a hex on him.
We need more than a hex. He reached out to you, right? He reached out to you, didn't he?
He did.
And what did he say?
He said I came to his defense. I don't think I came to his defense. I just think that I gave what I knew personally outside of that dick face fucking that's just still disgusting. And I gave him a piece of my mind, like, dude, I can't even fathom speaking to you. Like, you're just, no.
I don't know.
So I got my blue queen look.
He wrote the website, and he said that not him, I guess one of his stoolies, and he said that he wanted to box me, like that. Like I want to box you.
He told me that I need to get a fight between you two. But I feel that I'm his weight class, height, and everything. So I feel like I should be the one to take him on.
Well, that might be the case, but I just want to measure something out. So hold on. So let's see if he really knows what he's getting. Because I think he called me the fat guy, right? Like I'll tell fat boy or something,
in the
right?
message to me, he called you the fat guy.
So hold on. Let's check it out. I got to go to the other side. Let's see if fat Sputnik really wants a piece. I don't think so. I don't think he knows what's really happening to this old man.
Get your tickets, ladies, to the gun show.
That's it, baby. Listen, I try not to show it off, but when I have to, I have to. This old man will crush Sputnik cancer face. But anyway,
that lump in your arm is like that bald head of his. Like it's just there. I can't believe though. He really said I was defending him. That kind of pissed me off. I was like, no.
Well,
no.
Listen, there's a little point where you played a little Switzerland there. You did. It's okay.
I'm trying to turn over a new leaf.
You're a peaceful young lady, and in some discussions, we noticed that your nails are real, which is good. So maybe you can show everybody your nails.
They are. These are my nails.
Jimmy was supposed to join us today. He's saying he's having a link problem. So I got to see what's going on there. If you could appease me, my co-host, my niece out there, her name's Dana. Dana is doing a walk for her grandmother. It's a walk for Alzheimer's. So I'm asking the Monte and the Pharaoh family if you will put the link up. If you're willing to donate towards that walk, that would be No crying, Daniela. No crying. There's no crying here. We're asking you, please, to help support the elimination of Alzheimer's, because God knows we don't want to forget anything, right?
Was that no pun intended? We're doing it for Nana, all right?
But again, if anyone could reach into their pockets and donate, that would be wonderful. I'm very excited for our guest.
Send me that link.
What's that?
Send me that link so I could post it too.
You got it, boss. Very excited for our guest tonight. I'm bringing on another pro wrestling legend, Buff Bagwell. He'll be in. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot here. Look out, Buff. He's got the stuff. We're going to weigh in on, and maybe Buff will weigh in on Sputnik and weigh in on his thoughts. But first, Suzanne Summers dies of breast cancer. Suzanne Summers' death at age 76 on October 15th was caused by breast cancer. In 2000, Summers, who became famous for her roles in Three's Company and Step by Step.
Thigh Master!
And Thigh Master. Well done.
Thigh Master!
She succumbed to breast cancer. Thoughts on Suzanne Summers?
One, amazing thighs. She was amazing. No, but honestly, I definitely like that. That's one of those, like, she's an iconic face. Like, she wasn't, granted, she's not my generation, but I do remember her. I remember grabbing my mom's Thigh Master. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Like, this is like, it looked like a little noodle just strapped together, and you're just trying as a kid to just, like, I can't grip it. Like, but no, I definitely, that's honestly, it's so sad. It's breast cancer of all things. Like, the woman killer. Like, what the fuck?
You know, I got to tell you, being a little bit older than you, it's Suzanne Summers known for Three's Company, but to my co-host, she's just known for Thigh Master. That's kind of rough.
Come and knock on my door.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. Wow.
I watch Nick at Night. Don't try me.
Burt Young, Rocky star. This is, I guess, a day of death, my friend. Who brought depth into the substance of tough guy roles, dies at 83. He played Paulie in Rocky. Thoughts on Burt Young passing away?
No. That's like, that's actually kind of really young. Some of these celebrities are like, they're dying older than that. And now it's like, shoot.
He was 83.
Well, okay, how old was Sean Connery when Sean Connery passed?
Shit, I don't know. I think like 70-something, right?
No, older than that. He's older than Rocky movies.
Abe will pull it out. He'll yell me the number.
Abe, we need to know how old Sean Connery is, because I'm telling you, that's actually 83 sounds kind of young for like the celebrity deaths, like especially recently, like the last couple years. So that's kind of young.
Fucking 83 is pretty old, dude. I mean, I think you lived a pretty solid life at 83.
Sean Connery died at 90 years old.
90.
Told you!
Damn, you got it, girl. Wow.
I'm telling you. That's actually, 83 is like young for celebrity death. Like,
yeah, but
that's
Sean Connery was in 10 times the shape of Burt Young. I mean, Burt Young was a smoker, drinker, you know.
They always say the degenerates live longer.
Wow. I know somebody's
Let
going
me
to live
drink my
longer.
wine.
All right, very important here. EasyJet flight is canceled after someone fouls up the place amid delays. Absolute chaos, says a passenger. The clip started in the middle of the pilot's speech. He can be heard saying that everyone apparently found it rather exciting to defecate in front of the toilet than not staying right where he belonged. We're now got everyone off the plane and organize everybody to get hotel rooms until we fumigate the plane. Thoughts on saying someone taking a giant dump on the floor on a flight?
So I was like scared to queef on a plane once.
Queef. What?
Why? Because sometimes it sounds like flagellation, so it's like it could be mistaken. Like I passed gas, it's like no, my pussy farted. Like completely different. But like, damn, you just putting that person on blast. Yes, I said queef. I said queef. I queef, and I'm proud of it.
You know what? I got to be honest. I haven't heard the word queef in quite a day. Quite a day.
Well,
Woman queefs on plane.
That would be me. I would be that. There's something outside. Like.
We got a big announcement. I just found out. You'll be joining me in studio in New York on November 11th. So on November 11th, Monte The Pharaoh are going to the big event during the day, and then we'll be interviewing Paul London, cheerleader Melissa. I haven't updated it yet, but Pat Tanaka and Paul Diamond, I forget the name of that team. Maybe Buff could remind me who it was. And we're going to have an all-night long interview with you sitting at the table. Abe, are you excited to meet Daniela in person?
Of course. Who wouldn't be?
Totally shit-faced before.
We'll have plenty of good effing wine for you here, so we'll be in good shape. And maybe Jimmy will find his way up here, and it'll be the three of us sitting at the dais. Crazy times.
That would actually be kind of awesome.
It would be awesome. I don't know where he is now. He must be having computer problems. I have no idea.
I know, and like I got all like witchy. Like I was like, oh, he's gonna appreciate the Halloween spirit.
So you dress up for Jimmy, but you don't dress up for me?
I dress up in my PJs for you.
Oh, Jesus. Man, I feel like a second-class citizen here, man. Gotta tell you.
I'm sorry. What would you rather? Horror makeup? Like I look like I'm crying.
No, I kind of dig you right now. I like your gimmick. I like it a lot. I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte The Pharaoh and Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find them on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page where you hit like and subscribe, Spotify, Apple Music, or Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching the world's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page, Monte The Pharaoh Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, the Monte The Pharaoh Twitch TV page. And in New York, if you're lucky enough to live in New York, you catch us on Channel 115. They've kind of changed the times and days on us because of our popularity, but I'll just read the script. Channel 115 every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and Channel 20 Tuesdays at 7 p.m. If that's not enough, catch us on the Intuitive Network. That's Intuitive. That's INTUITIVE Network. It's free. It's got documentaries. It's got movies. It's got comedy. It's got music
if it's
videos.
Free, it's for me.
Yeah, and it's got Daniela, head and in charge, Monte and the Pharaoh. We'll be right back where Daniela gets to meet this icon and friend of the show, Mr. Buff Bagwell. We'll be right back with Buff Bagwell. Sir? Manscaped? You know, have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to
Oh,
go
I
do
know
the deed
where-
on a
I
woman,
know where
would you
he's
rather
going.
have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Well,
Racing stripe.
retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to
Wow.
wander into that.
That's
thought
very
of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a
Wow.
smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, look
but-
what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it! I found
have
it!
you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
You're like, whoa!
Wow,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's a
through.
trooper. He's a trooper. Gotta give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. And we have in the house, it's been a long time. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Buff Bagwell. How are you, sir?
What's going on, man?
Man, you look good, bro. You look great.
Are you wearing that hat for
Thank
me?
you.
I like
I
that hat.
am, see?
I like the hat.
I have got so much to talk about.
Oh shit.
I
Welcome to the show.
mean, just listening for 15 minutes, I've got Queef, Link, Kevin Nash, the shit on the airplane, and Manscaped. I could talk about all 5 of those things for a week.
So wait,
Well-
are you gonna shave my pussy, give me a ring, and we're gonna call it a day?
Boy, did that go off the rails.
Speechless.
I mean, first, let's just, I got to call a spade a spade. I don't believe in the word queef.
Why?
I never, I heard it 30 years ago. I've never heard one, though. I never seen a girl do one. I just don't believe I believe
You've never
it. I'm
hit
not
it
sure I've
so
ever.
hard from behind that it locks up that air like a fucking Bissell vacuum cleaner.
Oh, you mean, but
and
see,
then
but
after
see,
you pull out, you hear.
but hold on, but hold on. You said on an airplane. How the hell did that happen on an airplane?
No, I said I do that. I queefed on an airplane thinking so.
Blah 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 blah. Sexual, absolutely sexual. A queef, I get. You said sitting on an airplane.
I got a big ass that sucks up a lot of air. Okay.
God bless it.
Oh my God.
So
I got my
yes,
Instagram.
queef after the doggy style position, absolutely. But has never heard
You
it
can
put
have
on an
it
airplane. I did
naturally
a
too.
queef.
You can shift the wrong way accidentally.
I don't know, man. That's I never heard that one, but again, okay, it's been a while though. I'm with Big Man. I just hadn't heard Queef in a long time. It's been a while, but
No.
but I'm all about anything.
I'm
with
bringing
pussy.
it back. I'm bringing
Buff,
back
Buff, I was saying the same exact thing. I haven't heard Queef in like 25 years. You never hear that
It's
term.
been at least 20 years.
Who wants
Yeah.
to say pussy fart?
I don't think I've ever heard pussy fart in ever. Like, ever.
It's been a decade on pussy farts.
All right, let me get this back on the rails. By the way, Buff, this is my new partner in crime, Miss Daniela Petro. Daniela Petro, the great Buff Bagwell. Hello, everybody.
He got bad in his name.
Hello.
That's all I like.
Hello.
I like it. I like
Hey,
that
line.
but let me ask the next question right quick. What was the Kevin Nash thing I just witnessed?
All right, so let's go through this real quick, and I want you to weigh in. So,
Okay.
Since Daniela's joined the show, she kind of brought, we were talking about different shows and shit like that, and she started discussing this one guy. And I went and looked him up, and I catch this video. And I only took a snippet of it, Buff, right? Because I don't think, and I'm being honest here, I don't think I've ever run across something so disgusting as that. I wanted to rip this dude's throat out, right? And, I put it up last week, and then the guy kind of retaliated this week in some form or fashion. And I said, let me put it up again because I want people to realize what kind of piece of shit this guy is. I don't know how else to say it, right?
This is like, what kind of piece of shit's watch him? Like,
Has Kevin Nash
Like,
seen this?
I don't think so.
I don't think I think he would, honestly, I think he would have said, as a parent, we'll take away his WWE, we'll take away Magic Mike, everything. As a parent, I would have said something. If I don't think he saw it. Because
you don't, listen to me. No offense or anything, but you just don't know Kevin Nash like I know Kevin Nash. When Kevin Nash hears that, there's going to be some kind of retaliation.
What was said? If Kevin Nash actually heard this, there would have been a hole in his head.
No, when he hears it, as soon as he hears it, there's going to be a retaliation.
No, as that is entitled and should be on some real shit. That was, and the worst part about it is, I was saying it last week, they have that. I think my son's glamming me was every time someone would donate money, that phrase, that catchphrase would be shot out, and I never knew what that was because that was my first time seeing that, and I was just like, that's disgusting. Oh my God, I think my son's glamming me. That's where that came from? No,
wow.
That's too far. That's too far.
I'm going to make it my own personal mission to make this.
You asking for the death card.
I want to make this kid famous, right? He wants to be famous. Let's make him famous for the right reasons. But speaking of that, Buff, I know you're friends with Kevin, or were friends with Kevin.
Yes.
When his son passed away, what were your thoughts? And did you reach out to Kevin at all?
Absolutely. Of course, I knew everybody was going to be blowing Kevin up, of course, because so many people love and respect Kevin Nash. But, me and Kevin actually go back from Atlanta boys before the wrestling. We both I'm about 10 years younger than Kevin, but in the world of wrestling, that don't really mean anything. So but in Atlanta, Kevin was the big, badass, cool bouncer in all of the top clubs. And I was the 19, 20-year-old with a fake ID getting into all the cool clubs. And me and Kevin were good friends. And then we both got into wrestling. I got into rinky-dink, independent pro wrestling to start, and he got into WCW to start. And because of his size and his ability. And so, yeah, but we got in at the same exact time. And but Kevin and me are really super good friends. But I didn't reach out to him right away because I just knew he was getting bombarded. But we did speak after a couple of weeks. I waited and did my respect phone call and just made sure he knew I cared about him. But at the same time, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was in correlation with Scott Hall's birthday. The death.
Yeah.
It was like almost the same day, a year apart, or something crazy. So it was like a double whammy for Kev with the Scott Hall losing him and his son. It was crazy, but I just hated that for Kevin. He was, I remember Kevin when Tristan was born, and it was just a cool name, the Tristan word, and the Legends of the Fall, that was Brad Pitt's name, Tristan.
Brad Pitt's character was my favorite.
Oh my God! And anybody that Brad Pitt, that was one of his coolest, roles, and he was super
Maybe
good
that's
looking.
why I
He was
became
also
a sucker for long hair. That's why I like long hair so much. It was because of Tristan's character.
Absolutely. So he had one of the coolest names in the world, and Kevin knew it was a cool name and a great kid and all that. So I hated that for Kev bad. But to hear what just happened a minute ago, I really thought, just for a second, I thought that I knew what podcast I was going on, but I still was a little confused what was happening. And I'm like, Kevin's going to kill me for being on this show.
Well, I got to be honest. I'm thinking to myself, Buff's going to see this, and he thinks that we think it's funny. He's going to just disconnect. Yeah. And I'm like, but he knows me. We know each other. And I'm like, he knows me better than that. He'll hang in there. He'll get his explanation. You know what I mean?
I done. Moving on.
And we know that we like blowing up assholes. We love exposing assholes.
Moving on. The shit on the airplane. I got a story for that one, too. A good one.
Well, let's hear it. Go for it.
Scott Norton, one time in Japan, tore his quad muscle. And we are 17-hour flight away from the United States in Tokyo, Japan. And on the flight home, Scott had to take a dump, and he's got a tore quad. So picture tore quad, you can't bend your leg at all. They had to keep the door open, and Scott Norton had to take a shit on the airplane, and the flight attendants going around having to spray the air, and the whole plane knew Scott Norton stunk it up. I love Scott Norton to death, but I had to tell that story. It was such a great story, and it's a story that Scott tells, but it's not like he's embarrassed about it. It happened,
right?
And it's the truth. It's
It
hilarious.
takes away the fun of a fucking Mile High Club.
No joke, but I mean, the lady went through spraying and all that. I felt so sorry for Scott because he's a real teddy bear, and he was so embarrassed about it, But I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I think when it comes to a point you weigh in like shitting in your pants or letting everybody see you taking a shit, we'll go with let everybody see you taking a shit. I mean, not to dumb this down.
Sure.
Hands down, but I shit flowers, but I queef.
Well, of course.
Buff, you don't even know what you're in for. Don't worry. This just
My
started.
queef
Trust
smells
me.
like daisies. You gotta stop bringing all these good-looking men on here.
I know.
You think I need to go for an older man?
I don't think.
How old are you?
How old do I look?
Uh-oh.
I mean, this really doesn't fucking help. Like, I was going for like this witchy, like run down look.
I was about to say, you sure you want me to answer that? No, you look great. I'm going by the way you're acting and your age. I think you're young. I think you're 35, 36.
I just turned 36.
Give me
You
something.
hit the nail on the head.
Buff
When
knows,
I'm blonde,
Buff
though,
knows
I look
his
like
women.
I'm 24.
He knows his women. Buff knows his women.
Absolutely, I know my women.
And Buff, check it
I know
out.
you
I know you
find
got
out.
a girlfriend, but just so you know, Danielle, I wanted to know if he
another
was
one taken.
single. I said he's single with a girlfriend, so there is a chance that
There's
Sure.
no ring. Thank
No
God you
rings.
got a wife, because I'm not
That's
doing the
it.
sister
No
wife part
rings.
again.
Buff,
Every
last
time.
night Sting announced that he's finally going to retire.
Did you hear the whole speech?
I did not. I was sleeping because I'm old.
He said my name.
So Share your thoughts about Sting, what he meant to the industry, and what he meant to you.
Man, Sting, brother, is to me, first of all, is everything. I came into WCW as the rookie by the minimum of any wrestler 9 years, which was Scott Steiner. And so you're talking about youngest in the company by 9 years. And Sting being that 10, 11 older than me years, it was just taboo for him to be hanging out with Marcus Alexander Bagwell. But we just clicked. And the rookie and being a pretty boy and all that stuff, that don't get over too much in a pro wrestling locker room. But once Sting took me in, it's like all the boys then accepted me. So it was a big deal when he first accepted me to get me into the business, and he really vouched for me, and we just really clicked. And last night, when I'm watching him on TV, we had talked about 2 days ago and just got caught up a little bit. And I was telling him about my sobriety thing and being 14 months sober and all that stuff. And thanks a lot. And he knew about it, but we hadn't really got caught up. And then a day later, he's on AEW, and my phone's been lit up all day about him saying he kind of gave a speech and brought up the old running guys, which was Luger, me, and the Steiner boys. That was the car. That was the group. Was the Steiners, Sting, Lex, and Bagwell were always together. The industry, as far as Sting goes, is just like I said. I mean, it speaks for itself. I mean, he's just so over, so popular. He's a great guy. I couldn't be more proud of him. I remember him always wondering about all these older guys, and he went and talked about it last night about how the older guys, he kept wondering why they kept wanting to come back, and last night he talked about that, how he gets it now by seeing why they want to keep coming back, and because they don't want to let it go, and it's still a lot of fun for him, and Sting can still wrestle. He's still healthy. He still looks great. So, I just think he's just a great guy. He's one of the best in the industry. He's respected throughout. He just class act through and through. And I love Steve Borden.
Now I have a question. I always have questions, but so you said even though when they're done and over with, they still keep coming back. I've noticed that because even the Undertaker has been he was on NXT and everything. What is that drive to make someone who's kind of all right, I'm gonna let this generation have their turn. I paved the way. What keeps you wanting it to come back? I mean, you guys take a brutal hit, physically, mentally, emotionally, family dynamics. What makes you want to just keep going back into that ring, even when maybe it's a nice, let me take a nice little Florida cruise to the Bahamas. It's my retirement. What makes you keep going?
I think it starts off with the cruise to the Bahama kind of thing. And then what happened to me is you look at the TV and you don't see anybody that's really stepped up and took your place. And so it hasn't passed you.
So a legacy. Like a legacy.
Yeah, I unfortunately kind of got out of the business at a very young age by something that was never going to happen. WCW was never going to merge with the WWF ever, and that is now what's the WWE. But you're too young to know that probably. But the WWF and the WCW.
Wait. What was Triple H wasn't he in WCW? What was that? What was that?
No,
generation?
That was WWF. But he was in WCW
as
Ernest. Yeah, as Ernest Helmsley, he was WCW, and so was Mankind. He was Cactus Jack. So was Kevin Nash. He was Kevin Nash in WCW. He so was Undertaker. He was Mean Mark Callis.
I do remember
so the
Undertaker and Kane. I actually had the privilege to meet Kane. He was a very nice man. From what he played on television to what I met, I was like, this is 260, like this little 360 going on here, like. But no, I definitely see that too. Like, there are big shoes to fill with certain characters. Like, you can't have another Undertaker. You can't have. I mean, maybe Austin Theory could be like the next John Cena. I could kind of see that. I even.
But what you're saying, like right there, what Rock, you're saying is they're few and far between. Those Austin Theories,
it's very, very
and those
limited,
Seth Rollinses, those Austin Theories and those Seth Rollinses are few and far between, bro. They're just few and far between. So when they get out of it, a lot of people don't get that void filled like a Cena or a Rock or a Austin or a Sting or a Luger, and it just don't get filled. So it just leaves them like, let's go back. I mean, let's try it again because nobody else filled those shoes. So let me go back and get a payday.
Well, even like Edge, he was so humble to me when I met him 2 years ago at WrestleMania. And like, just to even see him switch to AEW, I'm still like, dude's got it. I mean, I watched him on like the Viking series and stuff. So I was like, oh, isn't that a wrestler? I know who that is. But like, it's definitely, you can see why, but I wanted a better understanding is like, it's like a father with its offspring. There is no one good enough to carry on my legacy, so I'm going to stay here until I croak over. And
there you go. I like it.
You got.
So yeah, I'm real proud of Sting. I'm real proud of Sting, and he's just had a hell of a career. So, and he does so many signings and does so well with that. And Sting really. And even in the heyday of WCW and Nitro and all that, Sting and I were the only two wrestlers to do the WCW ride the whole way. The only two. Everybody else went back and forth and was at the WWF and came back, So, but me and Sting did the full 11-year ride at WCW. And to my knowledge, we're the only two that did. And so we got really close during all that. And then and then what I was saying a minute ago is the unheard of and the impossible happened, which was the WWF merged with WCW, and it ended my career.
I feel like Rhea Ripley is giving me a little bit of a female Sting right there. Is it just me?
Really?
Am I seeing that? I feel like she is. I feel like she's like the female.
Yeah,
I'm new to this world. But what I see as an outsider looking in, not really pre-exposed too much, I feel like I can see that. I
like it.
But no, I definitely can. I love the fact that if you still have it in you and you still have the drive and you still have the fan base, keep going. Keep going till your knees give out. Keep going. Ride that. Because honestly, you're still wanted. And even if you look at the age range that is going on like AEW and WWE, it is shit. When I met Austin Theory, he was like 21, 22. And then you have Edge and Undertaker going on NXT and everything else. It's like, if you still have it and it's still, the audience is still wanting it, and I feel like it's what drives you guys too. Is the want and the need. You know what I mean? So it's like, keep doing it. And I commend anyone that keeps going. Because it is. When you know you have that niche, because you know you got that niche. I can see you got that niche. It's a hard shoes to fill. You left your fingerprint. So it's like, who else can really put their hand where mine has been placed? That's how I
like it. I like it.
You gotta stop zooming on his face. Whew, you got a girlfriend. Actually, no, you're easy target. But so I gotta ask you something. I gotta ask you about Miss Judy Bagwell, your mother. How was your relationship with Miss Judy Bagwell?
Well, Miss Judy Bagwell passed a couple years ago, but she was a fantastic woman. I still get asked to this day. I was in New York Comic Con this past weekend, and I still get asked, was that really your mother? Because nobody really believes with TV. They think it's some kind of magic show,
They think it's make believe. Sometimes they think it's just a
Sure.
script.
Sure. But that was my mom. She was, 50 something years old, taking diamond cutters from, from Dallas. And there she is. And she was one half. If you lower that picture, she's got a tag team belt on right in that picture. She was one half of the World Tag Team Champions. Her and Rick Steiner were the World Tag Team Champions. It's crazy.
That's insane. And right there, that's probably what also keeps you going. You come from a legacy.
Yes.
You gotta keep this bloodline going. Keep this bloodline going. Makes you want to get back in the ring. That's what I love about when I got introduced to the wrestling world. I will say it is fundamentally a lot of family based. It's crazy. Yeah. And it's just like rooted in your blood. It's genetically imprinted, I mean, I hate saying this, but like Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, like it's rooted. You got the bloodline, all of them, like it's just rooted, and you just have that passion and that drive to just keep it going for generation upon generation upon generation. And that honestly is one of the coolest things that I found being new to this whole wrestling world, is that it is so family based, and it goes longer than you can ever expect it to. My mother's mother, my father, and I love that. So it's also good because I was wondering, like, I was looking it up. I didn't know. I was looking at clips. I was like, is that his mom for real?
Yeah.
Or is that? I don't know. So that's
that
crazy,
was her.
though.
Rick Steiner's who came up with that storyline. It was I broke my neck in Columbia, South Carolina. Was paralyzed in the ring for like 8 minutes. Get to the hospital and find out it's just when I broke my neck, I bruised my spinal cord, which makes you feel like you're 100% paralyzed. 8 minutes later, I'm taped to the board. I can't move. But when we came back to Columbia, South Carolina, it was Rick's idea because my parents were devastated that I was going to be a bad guy. I could have been
heels.
probably.
I'm a heel.
Well, the problem with it is I got 10,000 letters of people genuinely caring about me being injured in the ring, and fighter pilots that would touch my picture before going out to battle, and just the letters poured in. And then when I turned bad, it was borderline. It was like, whoa, that was almost too much. I mean, my parents were upset about it because of the fan mail and stuff. So it was big.
Do you regret at all bringing your mom into this world?
Oh no! Well, I see. Again, it was Rick his idea, but I thought it was fantastic. It was a really, really great idea, and it really worked. She got very popular, very quick. It was really cool.
Buff, speaking of Rick, last year, Rick at WrestleCon went on a tirade against transgender wrestler Giselle Shaw. I know you're friends with the Steiners. Could you share your thoughts about that situation and the backlash that Rick got for his words against Giselle Shaw?
Those kind of situations, man, I wasn't there. I do know. I mean, I was there. I was in LA at WrestleCon doing a signing, but not in the same room. The stuff I got from it was, and again, mine's only an opinion because I didn't see it with my own eyes. And man, my father taught me at a very young age, believe nothing you hear and only half of what you see. And I did not hear it, but I did have a guy that was sitting in the same area as Rick that said, whoever the person was, the transgender person, that was really messing with Rick. Now, that don't make it better for what he said or didn't say, But I did hear that the transgender person was really like agging it on and walking by and, making some gestures and stuff. So, so there's always two sides to every story, but,
Well,
Rick's
there's
pretty
three
vocal, but
sides.
yeah, exactly.
Always got three
It's his
sides. Your
story,
version,
their
my
story, and then
version,
the
the
truth.
actual truth.
You're exactly right. His, hers, and the actual truth. So yeah, so I don't know. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I didn't hear it, but I've got myself in a mess like that too by speaking too soon. But I did hear the person was kind of baiting Rick, and I don't know if that's true either. But that's what I heard.
Look, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I have heard that you're pretty social or loud about supporting the LGBTQ community. What made you get into supporting this group?
It was more just a person that my agent at the time was a guy named Michael Long. And it was more just where I was really kind of lost with my injury and it was more just I spoke up, the truth being I want everybody. Buck was for everybody is what the shirt we made. And it was because I think everybody deserves to say whatever they want and be part of whatever they truly believe in. I just can't imagine feeling a way and not being able to express it. So on a couple of podcasts, I said that, and I was like, look, man, I want everybody to be happy and be able to say whatever they want to say. And so the LGBTQ thing, it just kind of took off and was like I was almost like a torch carrier for the group. And it wasn't quite like that, but I just more was just like, man, just let them, whoever wants to say what they want to say, let them be heard, let them be heard and respect them.
That's honestly a commendable thing because I'll tell you right now, when everyone thought I was a transgender woman, even though I have been born a woman, I have birthed 3 beautiful children in my life. The wrestling world can be really cruel if they even question you being trans or gay. Like, I got so many death threats, and I'm like, I'm really a woman, but they're like, oh, you're a chick with a dick, and it's like, oh my God, like, they're out to get me, like, and it's scary. It's really scary, and that's when someone with a platform that has a voice to say something, especially with no attachments to it whatsoever, that really stands firm with really saying, hey, listen, if I don't care, why should you care?
Yeah, right.
Let it be.
But I look at it this way too, Buff. You're a Southern guy, right? You were born a Southern man. The thought process, I'm assuming, from coming from your father, was quite a bit different back then. How do you make that change, right? Because, you've been taught differently. I'm assuming, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even with the N word, bro. I mean, that's something that was, that we had friends that were black that used the N word, with us, and it was okay. And now that's taboo. So I'm a 53-year-old man. Like, you're exactly right. My father raised us, that word wasn't bad, but he also raised us that there was white N words and black N words. That N word meant trash on the way my father raised me. So there's white trash and there's black trash. And so we were taught lessons and rules, even though it was a Southern-based family. It still made sense to me, and it kind of makes sense to this day of the N word being trash, not really what people think it means. It could be white trash or black trash. It's a person that is a trashy person.
I think it's not, because I'm biracial. My father's black, my mother's white, and my grandmother, God rest her soul, racist as hell. She used to tell her friends I was half Spanish because it was better to be half Spanish than half black. That's what she used to tell her girlfriend. And I think with me, I am so light skinned that even like having hair like this, I get looked at and I get, ridiculed with things. It's not about what is said. You can say anything the nastiest way, but I have actually been called a polite cunt, but at least I was polite.
Wow.
So it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So it's, you know what I mean? And by the way, I got called a polite cunt by the New York Yankees daughter when I worked at a high-end restaurant because I didn't get her section the right way. But I told my boss, I said, at least she said I was polite. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I said everything I needed to say, but I said it politely. So that's what I think it is, even with the derogatory terms. There are certain people I will look at sideways and I'd be like, I know you did not just say that. That's that ethnic roots in me coming out. And then there's some people I'm like, there's no ill will. There's no hatred on your heart. When you're using the same, you can say the same exact sentence as that person, but you have to determine about the delivery. What is the delivery? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's my personal opinion, coming from an ethnic background.
That's a good one.
Buff, you're getting a life lesson, buddy. You know you come on the show, you're going to get a life lesson, pal.
I love it.
I'll give you more lessons if you like. I'll give you your first queef lesson, too.
Oh, boy.
That's what I hear. That's what I mean. I've already learned.
I haven't done one in a while. Listen, I need a manscape. I got cobwebs down here. This shit's fucking brutal. Fucking dust the shit off. I am too young to be doing cobwebs.
Buff, nothing made me.
You know what they say? A woman. Oh, go on.
We'll get her to quiet down a minute. Too much good fucking wine, I think. I mean, you know what a big fan I am of you as a person, and
yes.
We are big fans of intestinal fortitude. Number one, I want you to probably tell the family out there, how does a man who's in such great shape like yourself, even way back, fall into drugs? And then more importantly, where do you get the intestinal fortitude to pull yourself out that you don't become part of the equation?
It's a great question and said perfectly. You know, how you get into it is your surroundings. Who you're around is such a big part of what happens in your life. And with wrestling, I mean, look at how many guys have overdosed and died. It's just drugs is unfortunately a huge part of pro wrestling. It was just in every locker room. I mean, you could have an Advil bottle, and a lot of wrestlers would do this as a joke, and you could drop an Advil bottle on a floor in a locker room, and the pill bottle sound of the Advil bottle hitting the ground, every pro wrestler turned around to that bottle because they were all some form of pillhead. So it was just a real nasty injury. Our industry was year round. If we didn't work, we didn't get paid. We didn't have health insurance. It was the nastiest, highest paying professional job on the planet. And it's just the way it was. It just was a drug filled industry, and it was in every door, every locker room, it was there. And again, you don't have to take it. Nobody was forcing it down your throat, but it just becomes part of life to where I remember like it was yesterday, a beer before 6 p.m. was taboo. And then one day it was open my eyes and turn to the phone and order a 6-pack of Coors Light to the room at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's one of those things that if you just don't stay on it, no different than sobriety, no different than one day at a time, no different than staying in the rooms of AA. When you get out of those rooms, you relapse. If you don't stay on your body to stay in shape, you're not going to stay in shape. If you don't stay on your body to stay sober, you're not going to stay sober. And I let my guard down thinking I would never be like one of those guys and be a pillhead or alcoholic. And all of a sudden I found myself being out of the bed, taking pills and drinking beer, and being a functioning addict for for 10 years. And I lost 20 years. I didn't lose 20 years with a needle in my arm in the alley, but I lost 20 years sedated. I mean, I really did. I mean, there's things that happened that through being sedated, it just went by. I lost 20 years, bro. And the key to getting out of that hole is your people around you. Dallas Page and my niece came to me and interventioned on me at a time that I'd had my car wreck in 2020 and I'd finally hurt myself. I ruined my right knee, and I finally done something with my addiction that finally left a dent, and it was a bad dent, and I couldn't fix it. And so I turned to alcohol, which I'd never turned to alcohol. I turned to alcohol, and because it was easy, it was quick, and alcohol's where I went. And so when I went to rehab, Dallas and my niece Jonna were the intervention on me to come in and to get me clean. But I was ready to get clean, so I went. It was August of 2022, and this past August of 23 was my first year of sobriety. So I'm 14 months sober 14 months sober now.
I gotta commend that.
But I will tell you, I can truthfully tell you, I am sober enough that at a year is a perfect time to see whether or not you like being sober or you don't. You've got a real good judgment to say, I'm just been a year sober. I'm good, clear-minded. And I don't like this. I'm going to go back the other way. Or,
See,
like
and
what
I
happened
have
to
to
me.
agree with him on that. I really do.
But
I was
but
gonna
at
ask
my
you,
my
don't get me
year,
wrong. I'll have a glass of wine or two. But I've indulged in partying. I'm no saint. I'm no saint whatsoever. And I don't know if you know my background. I dated a WWE wrestler. That was my way into the world of wrestling. And I was going to ask you, what would you say to someone like my ex? My ex, I felt you get so sucked in, and especially if you have that addictive personality. I do feel when you have that addictive personality, you sponge everything and anything that you can absorb to just get through. You guys are working 5, 6, 7 days a week. You're either flying, driving. You literally don't have a life. And yes, it's working. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So, and the more that you're on, the more that you're going to move up. But it's who you surround yourself by. I have indulged in partying, and I'm one of those people. It's like, I have work this week. I'm done. And some people don't know how to say, no, I want another one. And I want another one. And it's like, but what would you say to even like some of these wrestlers, whether they've been let go or they could potentially fall down that path of like, hey, been there, done that. It's not worth it. It's a nice high, but guess what? Just like every drug, the come down fucking sucks. Like,
And the truth is, you're exactly right. And it's just what I would say to them is like, even if you look, no matter how you look at it, if you go the money route, if I could just add up how much money I spent on alcohol and prescription pills.
Well, not even just you spending. Let's be fair. I've watched fans. WrestleMania was insane. And I'm not just talking about with my ex. I watched people, let me buy you a drink with, I'm not going to name names of who I was hanging out with or chatting with. Just people just here, and showing, and it's out of love, but it's like, how do you say no to someone who adores you or appreciates you that is handing you a shot or handing you a beer or let's go to the back room and do some rails. Like how do you say no when it's?
I know it's tough,
from
and that's
a place of love, you know.
it's tough, and I was right there, right in the middle of it. I mean, I put on a character named Buff Bagwell on TV, and everybody didn't want to. They didn't want to party with Marcus. They wanted to party with Buff Bagwells. Let's party, bro. You know, and so it was. The drinks were lined up, and like you said, any room, any party you wanted to go to, I could have gone to. Is the Coke party, the pill party, any pot party, any party I wanted to go to, I could go.
Well, Buff, I think also you start to believe in the character, right? Because just like any human being, you love the admiration and you love the love that you're getting, and you associate that with the things that you're doing. So how do you break away from that? I mean, I guess the reason I'm asking these questions, or we're asking these questions, because it does take an incredible human being, not just to get off of what's happening as far as the drugs go, but also to get away from being in love with being loved. How do you do that?
It's like a stripper. It's like a stripper. You gotta leave the stripper out the door and the stage name at the stage.
I think it just comes.
You gotta stop the hustle at the door.
I think it just comes. It comes a time that I was just tired, and I think that's what mostly happens. Is at a year end of sobriety, I just saw that I had a much better year being sober than I did the previous 20 years drinking and taking pills. So I just think,
oh, damn,
yeah, that's a non-drinking person right there.
Hello. I mean, you age like a fine wine. Don't get it. No, listen, I'll cheers to you. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
So I do think it's simply just being tired of it, bro. Being tired of the chase, being tired of your prescriptions, and it's a freedom to not having to worry about, am I taking these pills and when can I get them filled again, and the holiday, the pharmacies close. That 20 years of that battle to be truly clean is a freedom. Is a freedom from not having to worry about when can I get this pill filled again, and is it Sunday? Do they serve alcohol in this town? Is this a dry town or not? I mean, it just was a constant battle, man, and that's over, and I love it.
Well, you're one of the good guys, so I'm
you are
extremely proud of you and happy for you. God bless. On the other end,
crying.
She's gonna cry. It's every show.
No, I said I
every
almost
show.
started crying because it's a vulnerability just to admit that you have your demons. We all have our demons, and you seeing the consequences of your actions and your behaviors, and it is hard to honestly almost step out of your body and be like, you know what, I don't like this. I don't like you. I don't like what I'm doing, and it's hard. It's hard to self-reflect and be like. And that's one of the biggest things. I will say, I still like to have fun. Don't get it twisted. But I've stepped back out of my social life. And then I'm like, I've calmed down with my drinking. I've calmed down with things. And I'm just like, I can't fucking stand you people. How did I hang out with you for how many years? Like,
you know what?
You're in that little.
I think I'm going to keep you away from Buff. I've made that decision at this point. In this, I'm keeping you away from him.
Wait. Do you live in Florida or Georgia?
Georgia.
Oh, no.
Still 6 hours.
Dude, I don't know. I'm trying to... One thing I have to ask you, dude. Last time you were in here, and we just touched on it, but I marked out for it. When you showed up on Gigolos, dude, I was like, holy shit, that's Buff Bagwell.
Wait, Gigolo, wait.
How does it happen? And number two, was it a work or were you really gigoloing?
You were a gigolo?
It's a shoot. It's a shoot. I work for a company called Cowboys for Angels, and I was married at the time. I was married, so TMZ. I was married and thinking and trying to make money. Me and my wife were broke. I needed money, so I got this company called me up, Gigolos, and they paid me $25,000 to go on this show. I needed the money, so I went on it. But the actual company is called Cowboys, the number 4 Angels, and you could hire me for a date, you could hire me for a week, or you could hire me for a month.
So
And
it was
a
basically
crazy,
your generation's OnlyFans, basically.
absolutely, you're exactly right.
It was your
That's exactly
generation's
what it was.
OnlyFans. It was basically
Yes.
OnlyFans nowadays.
Yeah. So TMZ's doing my story, and I'm trying to. He goes, "How can you be married and be a gigolo?" And I'm trying to explain it like I go, "Look, Showtime. It's like a movie." I said, like when Tom Cruise, has sex with somebody on a movie. It's a movie. It's not real. And so Showtime calls me up and goes, "Look, Bagwell, you can't tell people it's not real. Are you kidding?" So I couldn't do that anymore. I was trying to protect the right of I'm married, and a person may hire me to go on a date. They may hire me to go to a movie. It don't say anywhere you got to have sex. It's not a contract saying you got to have sex. They were hiring me for a date. They were hiring me to take me to I went to Paris with a guy and chick that was for $15,000 for 3 days. Nice. So
Hell yeah.
and we just hung out. So it was just a crazy time. It happened. Anything I've ever done in life, it doesn't, like, I'm not like, I wish I could do that over. I would never say I didn't want to do that. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. I don't regret it at all. I did it, and I made the decision, and we did it. So, but at the time of making that decision, it was swayed a little bit because of my financial situation. But at the same time, it's one that, I just don't regret. It happened, and it saved my house at the time. It paid the bills, and it paid the way. So it worked, and for that time period, it filled the void of what I needed. So.
I'm going to call you Richard Gere from now on. He is now officially Richard Gere.
I love Richard Gere.
I ain't that young. I know.
Yes, officer and a gentleman.
You're my Richard Gere. You got the salt and pepper going on too.
Yes.
Buff, I gotta make sure she doesn't find where you live, man. We're gonna have problems.
Well, okay. One. I'm gonna ask.
Go ahead.
What is the one thing you're the most proud of?
The one thing I'm most proud of?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a tough one, but
I know it's my favorite question to ask people because I'm the softie, I'm the sentimental one.
In professional wrestling, it's easy. In professional wrestling, it's easy. To my knowledge, I am one of only 2 pro wrestlers in the history of pro wrestling to have more than 5 or more world tag team titles with 4 different people. It's me and Ricky Steamboat, and that's it. That's a pretty good tight knit group that have multiple tag teams with 4 different people. So that's the most proud thing I am. That one thing alone should be enough to get in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's career.
In real life, I would say my sobriety. I'd say this 14 months is probably the proudest thing that
you were going to say that. I was like, I feel he's going to be so proud of his sobriety.
Oh, absolutely. This 14 months, I was really ready to get sober. So I'd be lying to say it's hard. It was hard. It wasn't that it was hard. It just took a lot of time to really focus in on really what I was doing it for. But when I really got to Black Bear and I just really took it in, it just really went. It was just all meant to be. I think it had a lot to do with my age. I'm 53 years old, man. It was just time just to.
Like I said, you're like a good bottle of wine. Can you stop throwing your age out there like that? I will. That shit up.
I love it.
I like
I don't know,
seasoning my
Buff.
food. I love salt and pepper. Just saying.
Buff, I gotta tell you, you should be very proud of the man that you are and what you've accomplished. It was no small feat. You got tons to be proud of. I'm a huge fan. You've always been a gentleman.
He's been talking about you all week to me, like all week.
Because he's a
I'm
good
like,
guy.
Jesus Christ.
He's a
He said
good
you're gonna
man.
be, oh my God, I can't wait for you to meet him. I'm like, okay, I gotta Google him. I don't know these. I don't know everyone. I gotta Google him.
I was kind of hoping.
okay.
I was
I love him. He loves you, and he was making me love you. And now I saw you, and I was like,
I love it. That's
all right, Buff,
great.
I want to thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to the best. Are you going to any conventions soon? Are you going to be around? What do you got going on?
I am really, what I'm really doing right now is I'm really excited about doing recovery talks. I'm doing a recovery talk this weekend at in Huntington, Tennessee, and it's a big deal. It's called Rally for Recovery, and I'm really switching my whole gear to, to doing recovery speeches because there's just so many. It's just really so many people out there that don't know how to get sober, and I've been very lucky to do so with work and luck. But at the same time, I want to share what I've learned on getting clean. And so I'm doing one this weekend in Tennessee, and I just really want to start doing it more and more often. But the signings, I was just at New York Comic Con. I'm in New York again at the end of the month. But if you go to marcusbuffbagwell.com, that's my website. You can go to all my social media stuff in there. My email address is marcusbuffbagwell@gmail. And that's how you can get bookings or get me for bookings and things. So I stay real busy with signings and bookings and just with cameos. I stay real busy with cameos and I just stay busy being, just being honest and sober. And I love it.
listen, if your girlfriend drops the ball, I'll switch to sparkling apple cider or whatever. I don't care.
Well, here's my concern. Are you coming to the big event in New York? Do you know on November 11th? Do you know if you're coming to that event?
No, I'm not.
All right. Well, for the first time, I'll say thank God because
Right.
I don't know what I'd have to do, man.
I love it.
You say it.
Buff, want to thank you again.
need to
God
come.
bless. Wishing you the best. Hope to talk to you soon. And, the one thing I'll always remember is when you were in studio with the great Del Wilkes, there's that connection that, he passed shortly after that. So I always, when I think about you, I think about Del and I think about that interview we did together. So God bless you.
You too. You guys have a wonderful night. It was love talking to you guys. I love it so much. Y'all
Be
take
well,
care.
brother. All right. All right there, kiddo. What'd you think? The great Buff Bagwell?
One, I don't want to ever hear Matt Riddle talk about right there.
He's
there.
You said it. I really find him be a really good human being. I've had a couple of interactions with him.
It's really hard for someone, especially like alcohol. Alcohol is considered a drug. It's considered addictive.
Sure.
And some can handle it, some can't. And it's honestly, you may have an addictive personality and may be more influenced by other people. But that's the thing is he said my reality of I didn't like what the hell I was seeing. I didn't like who I was around. I didn't like who I was bringing into my life and what I was doing. And it gets old. It's I'm done. And that's honestly, it's a hard thing to admit. Like, hey.
It's a lot of triggers, though. I was thinking about that, right? And there are a lot of triggers.
I was like, God, this is a mentor that my ex should have used.
Well, I was thinking this actually while this was going on, right? You know how much I like you, and I think, you're a beautiful woman. And I was thinking, here's a guy, and I'm not saying him in general, but just saying in general, a guy wants to be involved with someone like yourself, right? And they want to date you and they want that sobriety, but you know, not saying you're a drinker or a drugger. I'm not trying to throw that out there. All I'm trying to say is you're drinking, then you feel like, well, you know, I kind of want to be with her, or I like her, so I'm going to start drinking. There's got to be a lot of pressure there on both ends.
But that's it. So I actually went on a date once, and the first date, and he said he didn't drink. He didn't say why. He actually later down during dinner, because I ordered a glass of wine. This was a couple years ago. He was like, I'm a recovering alcoholic. And then I slipped up because I got a dessert that actually had like bourbon in it. I was like, oh, you should try it. He's like, no. If someone is worth it, do you really need that drink?
No.
Like,
right.
I do have, I would say this show, and I force myself socially. I used to be a very, very social person. I used to work in the nightclub industry. I used to party and drink all the time. And now, it's run me down so much that when I even have just a little, I'm just like, I feel like death. Like, I feel like shit the next day. I started looking at people that I used to laugh at their jokes. I used to laugh at everything they said. I used to be so involved. And then because now I'm coming in, instead of 10 drinks in, I'm now babysitting 2 drinks. And I'm like, I don't even like you. Why did I hang out with you so many years? Like, I can't even stand you. Because now you're starting to realize things and see things in a different aspect. So it's like, with me, this night, and I would say probably a Friday or Saturday night, at home, I'll have a couple glasses of wine. And I socially make myself go to an event, go do something to be outside of my house. But from going from a big party scene, and I contributed even to my ex's degeneracy. Like, I had an addictive personality, so when he was like, babe, let's do this, I'm like, okay, like, let's do it. Like, I'm game, you're game, let's pull an all-nighter. Like, so I do have that, but I also am the type of person who knows when to say no. I'm okay with alcohol, whatever, when you have leisure time. But I have responsibilities. I have bills to pay. I have children to take care of. That's when you have to really look at things, and some people can't say no. They can't look at their job and be like, okay, I got to be responsible. I'm going to sober up. Nope, I'm going to have another one. Or I'm going to take a pill, or I'm going to do this. They don't know, and that's where it becomes a problem, and that's where you have to realize there's an issue because you don't know when to say no. And that's where I'm like, okay, I think I can pat myself on the back and say, I've said no a lot. No, I want to go home. We've had a great weekend. I'm going to go home to the kids. I'm going to work my weekday. Or I got to get up early. This is my last glass of wine. I'm not going to just keep going.
Well said.
And I commend him on that. I commend him on that because he finally was just like, you know what? Enough's enough. And I do see a lot of these older wrestlers that by technicality, their time has passed and they still keep going. And I commend them on that because they are a rare dozen.
I meant what I said, though, right? People want to be admired. People want to be loved, right? Either personal life, business life, whatever. So when you reach such a level,
admiration is the biggest drug.
Absolutely.
Everyone loves
so
admiration.
when you're at that level, like he was, and to be able to all of a sudden realize you're not that anymore, you know, I can understand you turn to something to help you deal with that. Life is tough. And like, this is one in my book. I'm glad you said that to him because in my book he is one of the great guys. I always liked him. Always seemed like again, I'm not trying to say I'm best friends with him. I know him very well because I don't. But for my
but you spoke highly about his demeanor and everything else before I even got to meet him.
Yeah. Well, through my limited interactions with him, I think I have the propensity to understand good people. Like, I like you. I told you I like you because you're a good person. I think you're cool. I think you've got a good heart.
I still have my walls up, but I am a work in progress of like breaking it down. And I do see you're genuine. I do feel like you're a good judge of character because I tell you, your enthusiasm with our guests, and some of them I don't even know.
some of them I have to like do my own research on, and then I feel I'm getting better at my judge of character than I once was. You hit the nail on the head. Like that's why I cry with some of these like people, because I'm just like, wow, like you can just feel their humbleness, you can feel their genuineness, you can feel their struggles. And I came from point A to point B, and yes, I have my faults and I am not a great character, but I've learned from my mistakes and I've bettered myself. And that's it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That's what I loved about it. He was like, you know, I'm trying to speak about my addiction. Like that's commendable. Absolutely. Because it is. I've watched that. I've witnessed it as a significant other. I've watched how addicting it is, and I've been a participant myself. So it's like you are being thrown all these things and the temptations and whatever, and it's like now he's being raw about it, and I can really fully respect that for it.
Well, life is fragile, and again, I want to thank you again. I hope you come back next week. I hope so.
I know you did not just say that to me. I know you did not just say that.
I'm just playing with you. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow we have the new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, EC3, in studio at 6:45. And then we have our regular show Thursday. And November 11th, Miss Petro will be in New York, where we'll be at the big event at the Monte The Pharaoh table.
Ooh, do I get to meet the squares?
You do maybe over the internet, but where we have plenty of interviews after that. But you can meet Miss Petro in person at the big event in New York, at the Monte The Pharaoh table. I want to thank you all for joining us. We love you all. We want to thank Buff Bagwell again for showing us the way to sobriety and the way that people can change their lives. This is Mike Monte.
Overcome everything.
And by the way, Abe, where's Jimmy? He was supposed to be here.
I know.
I sent him like 3 links, and I don't know. I think I got an email. There's some confusion, some technical difficulties. You know how it goes.
Say no to Androids, Jimmy Farrow.
Androids.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you for gracing us. And again, if you can donate, please donate to my beautiful niece's walk. Send us out, Daniela.
Bye, guys. Love you. See you next week.